Okay guys, what I've had to do is I've had to do an extension to part 1, and boy, there's a lot to these exchange rates, isn't there? There's more than what I thought, really. So look, let's just recap. So look, if I've got 1 New Zealand dollar and it equals 0.9 US dollars at T1, and I've got 1 New Zealand dollar equaling 0.7 US dollars at T2. What's happened? Well, what we can see is that the New Zealand dollar has depreciated against the US dollar. The New Zealand dollar buys less US dollars, doesn't it? So what we can say here is the New Zealand dollar has depreciated. Why? Because it bought 90 cents earlier and now it only buys 70 cents. Now, what I want to show you is that with a floating exchange rate, if one currency has depreciated, then the other currency has appreciated. So what we can say is the New Zealand dollar has depreciated against the US dollar. So what we can also write, this is also going to be a true statement, and we'll come back to it shortly. What we can say is we can say the US dollar has appreciated against the New Zealand dollar. So what I want to say to you is that both of these statements are true. It's just looking at things from a slightly different perspective. All right, so we'll just park this information. We'll come back to it. Okay. What I want to do now is just show you how easy it is to do these exchange rate calculations, and I use what I call the flipped ratio method. Now this is a name of my invention, okay, and I've come up with it just to simplify how students can undertake exchange rate calculations, because it can be quite complicated. All right, so look, you've got to be doing these things every day to be really fluid with them, but this method can help increase your fluidness. So what we've got here is 1 New Zealand dollar equals 0.125 US dollars. All right. What we can do is that we can express that as a ratio, can't we? We could write this way: 1 New Zealand dollar over 1.25 US dollars. Or what we can do is write it the other way around: so we'll do an or thing. Or we can say 1.25 US dollars equals 1 New Zealand dollar. So here, this is we've got the flipped ratios. So when doing exchange rate calculation, it's just a matter of just choosing one of these as your operator, if you like, as your converter. All right. So just parking that there, because we'll want to refer to it. All right. So look, if I tell you we've got 64 in New Zealand dollars, and I want to say to you at this exchange rate, I must always tell you what the exchange rate is. If I say to you, I want you to convert that into US dollars, how are you going to do it? Well, look, how you're going to do it is you're going to choose between one of these. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose this ratio. Why? Because if we use this ratio, it means that these New Zealand dollars, they cancel out. And then we've just got a straight multiplication, haven't we? Remember that New Zealand dollar equals 1 New Zealand dollar. That's the same as 1 times a New Zealand dollar, which equals a New Zealand dollar. So that's why I did the cancelling in that way. So we've just got a straight multiplication, 64 times 1.25 US dollars. And that's going to give me 80 US dollars. Oh man, that's easy. That is just getting real easy. All right. How's that? I'm getting better at that movie thing. Right, now look, if I say to you, look, I've got 80 US dollars, and at that given exchange rate, remember it's this one up here. I want you to convert that into New Zealand dollars. What are you going to do? Well, again, you've got to go back to your ratios, and this time you'll choose this one here, won't you? So we'll just write it up. So it's times 1 New Zealand dollar over 1.25 US dollars. Well, look what's going to happen. Those US dollars are going to cancel out, aren't they? And so you're going to have 80 New Zealand dollars divided by 1.25. Well, again, it's just very simple. No thinking required. 80 divided by 1.25. Oh, and when we do that, we come back up with 64 New Zealand dollars. I mean, the thing works, doesn't it? Oh, it's got to be great. The flipped ratio. They talk about the flipped classroom, but I think the flipped ratio is much more useful, especially if you're going on holiday in another country. You can just easily do those calculations. All right, so let's just go back. All right, so I'm going to have to open a new page. All right, so a new page opened. Right, so I can't go back to have a look at where we were. Okay, I think it was something like this, isn't it? That we had 1 New Zealand dollar equaled 0.7 US dollars at T1, and then we had 1 New Zealand dollar equaled 0.6 US dollars at T2. And so what we decided is that the New Zealand dollar, so we said the New Zealand dollar has depreciated against the US dollar. Now, what I want to show to you, what I want us to calculate, is the fact that the US dollar has appreciated against the New Zealand dollar. All right, so here we've got, so this is all going to be at the different times. So here we've got at T1. So we want to convert the New Zealand dollar into a US dollar and see what's happened. So look, here is 1 New Zealand dollar. So now we're going to do the flipped ratio thing. We're going to choose the right ratio, and so that'll be 0.7 US dollars over 1 New Zealand dollar. They'll cancel out, and the answer we'll have is 0.7 US dollars. Remember, that's at T1. Alright, what about at T2? Right, so we've got 1 New Zealand dollar. What's our ratio? It's going to be 0.6 US dollars over 1 New Zealand dollar. Now, New Zealand dollars cancel out, don't they? Agreed. I should have done that up here. And what we've got here is that we've got 0.6 US dollars. Now, just think about it for a minute. At T1, it costs 70 cents US for 1 New Zealand dollar. At T2, it only costs 60 cents. So it's costing the Americans less to buy a New Zealand dollar. So what I can say here is that the US dollar has appreciated against the New Zealand dollar. Alright. So with floating currencies, we talk about a zero-sum game. So if one currency is appreciating, then the other currency must be depreciating. What's the other way around? If our chosen currency is depreciating, then the other currency must be appreciating. Okay, how's that? I'm gonna stop there. Catch you later. In fact, I was actually opening a new page, so I'm going to try something new.